Raw and Nerdy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Raw and Nerdy. This is episode number 46. I am Joe the Widget, and I am joined by the stars of the shows, the show themselves, starting with Mr. Rook.
What's up, everybody? I'm back.
Oh, dang, who let him in?
Insert random applause here.
Who?
The guy with no actual mic right now. And we're joined, as always, by Archon.
What up, guys?
Now, we're on video, and I gotta say, the winner of the t-shirt contest is definitely Archon.
Oh,
He's rocking Mario. So, sorry, Rook. I mean, I've got Goonies, though.
Mario with the mushroom.
The
Goonies is a close second. Texas Longhorns is a distant third.
It's very last place.
Yes.
Last place by default.
I don't
Actually, you know what? I can't hate on.
to win a contest.
I can't really hate on the Longhorns only because, like, for the first couple of years of my high school career, I went to California. Or I went to high school in California, and I was a Longhorn. That was my school mascot. So can't really hate on the Longhorns.
I'm
too much.
sorry.
It's better
So-
than being a Trojan.
In this Raw Nerdy episode, there is very little news. I think we have 2 news points, period. So we got a bunch of topics we're going to just kind of dive into tonight that are random and all over the place. And next week, well, actually this week as you guys are hearing this, on Wednesday, Gamescom starts and goes all week. So it'll actually end when we start recording the next episode. So we're going to have
We aren't
all
going. Unfortunately, we're
Yeah.
not going all the way to Germany for Gamescom, but we will
I
have a
wish.
lot of stuff to report on, hopefully.
Yeah,
But Bethesda, if you're listening to this one, fly us out to Germany for Gamescom.
Yeah, I wish.
yeah,
I
that'd be
know.
amazing. A little
Even
too
if they
late.
sent me a ticket, I wouldn't be able to make it happen, probably.
I'd figure out a way.
If we were that popular, we would be making money off of this show and going everywhere.
Yeah, that would be big.
I would quit my job.
I did, in fact, and if they're listening, Enshrouded devs, I sent you guys an email this last week inviting you on the show to talk about your game. Answer it back saying, yes, we would love to, and we'll set it up.
Heck yeah. We already love your game, so we want others to love your game as much as we do.
Yeah, I spent a bit of time in it this week, especially with Archon.
I'm
The
telling
funny
you,
thing
I'm gonna
is-
tell you.
Hmm?
I'm gonna tell you now why they're not answering you. Because I have not played Enshrouded.
Oh,
Right,
yeah,
we have a
that's
holdout.
probably it. That's probably it.
I'm just going to have to buy you the game and tell you to get in.
If you buy me the game, I'll get in. Right now, I just gotta wait till a payday.
Fine. I'll buy you the game.
Oh, dang.
I bought my brother the game, like I mentioned last week with me and Archon. He can't play it at all.
Why?
His computer can't handle it. His graphics card
Oh,
is
yeah,
no
you
go.
told me that. My stepson's the same way. He can't run it either because it's just too good for his laptop.
I
I'd
think
have to
my
let
game-
him play on my laptop.
I think my laptop will be able to handle it just barely. Handles Boulders Gate 3 fine and Starfield okay.
Yeah,
If
they'll
they
be able to
handle
handle it.
Starfield, they should be able to handle Star.
So Boulders Gate 3 is pretty graphic intensive, and my game runs that one just fine.
Not as much as
Yeah, not like in
Starfield or Enshrouded, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy you the game after the show tonight. So
You
be
can get it
prepared
on
for
our
that.
server. Oh wait, he'll miss out on like. You might want to start on your own
I
game
told
just
him
so you
about
can.
the stuff that we've done in the server, so I mean, you
Yeah,
can
but
do whatever.
he might still want to start on his own, like just to get to the first couple quests to learn how to play.
Yeah, it's true.
Even though you've played Conan Exiles, it's a little bit different, and you'll,
The playstyle's a lot different.
Yeah, so you want to at least unlock like the first survivor or two just to learn, how the systems work. But
Makes sense.
You know what, guys? I'm gonna go first in the fact that
Yay!
because we already started going in this direction, but Enshrouded, we're gonna get Rook in there because it's an amazing game.
Yep.
But me and Archon went around and duoed like unlocking everything this week. And the funny thing is I had free time away from Archon unlocking everything.
you still didn't do anything.
I still didn't play it much. All I did was gather resources for my build, and I'm still missing a ton of resources for what I want to do. I have one building up, but I did spend like 4 hours one day just clearing an entire corner of a mountain so I could fit a castle in that area.
I started building. It's not big enough to be considered a castle. I'll call it more of a small keep.
Yeah, I saw it in our main area.
It's. I like the way it's starting to look. Like it's coming together. It's looking kind of cool.
It's kind
I'm
of
gonna
like
add
a
a bunch
cross
of stuff
between
to it.
like a Middle Eastern temple with a little bit of a medieval flair.
Yeah. Well, I'm not I'm not done yet. Like it's still going up more, and there's like I still got more to add to the walls and stuff. So it's gonna look more like a keep once I'm done with it.
So I discovered this mountain area that I thought would be really cool to put like a medieval style mini village with a castle, little mini keep or castle in there. So that's what I started building. I have putting in roads, putting in the gates across these giant boulders, and that's what I did this week for the most part in the game, or this last weekend when Archon was out camping. Because every time that him and I were playing it together, we just went out and destroyed everything. Did the first couple of new dungeons, the hollowed halls.
Yeah, you do so much damage, and now that I'm like have all my like kind of taunt stuff, where when
You
you do
take so much
damage,
damage.
yeah, I'm good at just holding it while you just beat the snot out of them because like I got this skill that makes it to where like any damage you do gives me twice as much threat. So like it just instantly you start doing damage, they all just turn and start hitting me.
Dude, I'm an aggro building machine for you because I got that
Yeah,
berserker ability where every time we kill a mob, I get 10% more damage. And
yeah.
so do you.
Every time you hurt somebody, Archon gets beat up for it.
Yeah, more and more so. Every time
But
we
I
kill
don't really get
something,
beat up
they
that
all
much.
hate him more.
I don't really get beat up that much though, because I like yeah, I'm built like a tank. Like I can take some damage.
I'm sitting here dying on 4 or 5 hits, and he's sitting there just, I'm going to hold the boss off and take it back. We've done that a
Yeah.
couple times. I have to come back in, do my bit of damage, die again. Yeah, it's fun, though. The game's a blast. And the building part of it, I'm learning new little tricks and techniques with it. So it's been fun. Yeah, a lot of resource gathering. Lots. Like this, I have a cavern below our main base that I've been using to mine out stone just for stone. And the thing's becoming a giant cavern trying to get all the stone I need.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Rook and I started playing Battlegrounds. I put BG3 and I went instantly to Battlegrounds 3.
Battleground 3, yes, it's a new game, guys. You should really
Boulders
try.
Gate 3, him and I have played it in the past together. We gotten into the second act, but never got past that. I have never beat the second act. I was in the last boss on my main game, my private game. So the goal is we're gonna beat the game this time.
Yes, that
We're
is now
doing
going
it.
to be our Sunday goals.
We're doing it good guy style, and we're actually ahead of the level curve currently in the game because we've been destroying everything. I am playing a rogue, an assassin rogue, and Rook is currently doing a sorcerer.
Yep, Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer.
Okay, so I got a question.
Yeah.
This is completely random, but I have a question because I don't understand if I should be offended by this or not. Because okay, so I was telling somebody in my guild on EverQuest just a minute ago about how I was doing something for him while I told him I'd click a button while I was recording my podcast because it's just clicking a button.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, what's your podcast about?" I said, "It's just a general, nerdy podcast called Raw and Nerdy." And he replied with, "Ah, you must have a beard then." What is that supposed to mean?
What does that even mean?
I know, what does that even mean? I mean, all three of us do kind of have like, I mean, you have a goatee, but like, we all kind of have beards. But like,
I have
is
a
that
goatee,
like?
so yeah.
I mean, that's still kind of a beard. It's a type of beard.
So traditionally nerds don't have that facial hair.
That's
Actually,
what I'm
more
wondering.
recent
Like,
It's a
years-
how did you
stereotype.
just generalize me as having a beard just because I do a nerdy podcast? Like,
Because if you look at a lot of nerdy podcasters out there these days, they all have beards because of the new generation.
huh?
Okay.
I was just like,
Yeah, if you look at them, they all have beards.
like I do have a beard, but what? How in the world did he just jump to that conclusion? Anyway,
I really can't grow one because the sides along the chin right here get all patchy and looks really goofy.
yeah.
Tried it once, didn't work out.
You can barely grow a goatee. Now, come on.
I had to keep this thing trimmed, but now it's really, really salt and peppery.
I know how that is.
I've been doing my gym thing like always, keeping my diet down to 192 and extremely lean. I've actually had a lot of compliments from a lot of people lately. So keep at it, those of you who are doing the Nerd Fitness Challenge. Keep going. You can easily do it. I know there's a few in our Discord that have been
Okay.
really sticking to it, like Mossy in his
I
marathons.
need I need to so bad, but I don't have the motivator. I'm
Yeah, you
looking
do.
directly at you, widget. I need the motivator, and
See, you
B,
don't. If I could do without a motivator,
I'm currently dealing with a potential tear in my shoulder, which kind of makes it hard.
well, I do have a different type of
Hey.
motivator, but that's beside the point.
A, you need to build the discipline to be self-motivated, just like I need to build the discipline to be self-motivated. And B, yeah, you don't want to be working out with a possible tear because you'll just make it worse, and then your life's all over.
Yeah, even though
Yeah.
for some reason workman's comp thinks, and I don't get this, that I have to go to physical therapy first before they'll let me do an MRI to see if it's torn.
Yeah, that
Seems like
doesn't make any
backwards
sense.
logic
That
and
actually really seems like it's illegal.
That sounds like it's the backwards way of doing things. Even sports players go and get MRI before they do
well,
any.
sports players also can be like, "Oh, look, my knee hurts. Oh, it's torn. Okay, tomorrow I'll be in surgery." If I were to do that, like if this is torn, it's probably going to be months before I ever get in for surgery
True.
because I'm not a sports player who makes millions of dollars.
You don't have a team that has their own sports surgeon.
You know what I actually heard over the weekend, which boggles my mind. While I was on my camping trip, somebody actually told me because we were talking about my shoulder and the MRI and stuff. Somebody told me that right now most hospitals in Michigan have about 100-day turnaround on reading MRIs because they are
What?
so backed up because of
Why?
how busy they are and how understaffed they are in the medical fields around here.
Hmm.
That makes
They
no
said that it gets
sense.
like the place I go through is like an occupational health, and even they are over 30 days out. When my daughter when she punched that door and we thought maybe she broke her hand, it took them like 3 to 4 weeks before we heard anything back after she got a CAT scan done.
See, that doesn't make any
By
sense
then she didn't
because
even hurt anymore.
broken bones have to be set correctly right away or they'll heal
Well,
wrong.
an X-ray they can do right away.
Yeah.
Like they did the X-ray, there was nothing showed on the X-ray.
Oh, that's
They did
okay.
the CAT scan, which is like a more in-depth look. But yeah, I mean,
I
it,
want to shout out to Rabbit Proof Gaming. She's been a good motivator, and in our nerdy the raw gym, and she gave me an idea that I've been doing this last week, and I'm doing a high intensity workout now.
oh,
So in between every set, instead of taking a break for 30 to 40 seconds, I now go over to the crunch machine or one of those incline benches and do actual sit-ups. I'll do a set of 10 in between every set. So I'll go do that, go back to my workout I was doing, do another set of 12 or 15, whatever I do, go back, do more sit-ups, back and forth, back and forth. My heart rate stays at about 119 to 125 the entire workout. And I get my workout done in like 15 minutes for all four exercises I'm doing, including the sit up sets. But I'm doing 80 to 90 sit ups or crunches in that time frame because your abs are the quickest healing muscle in your body. It recovers quick. So you can do that every day and keep that intensity going. And it's been kicking my butt, but it's been helping a ton, a massive amount. So big shout out to her and thank you for that suggestion. I've been doing it.
You go, girl.
and to your point, Rook, I do need self-discipline. I agree, but they say it takes what 2 weeks to form a habit, and I gotta get those 2 weeks to form that habit. And I love food.
It's one of those things where you
Just
gotta
love food.
force yourself to go for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For me, my problem is I can't even develop that habit after 3 to 4 weeks.
See, I'm just hearing
I
excuses.
need somebody to go with me to motivate me and show me
I
what I'm
hear that
doing
all the
wrong.
time. People telling me, "Yeah, I want to work out, but I need someone to motivate me to go to the gym." No, you don't.
I mean, you don't really, but
That's the
like
worst excuse.
So
you don't
not
really. But
everybody.
I do agree with him that if you can walk into a gym, but if you don't know how to use most of the equipment, the little pictures on them.
Research.
I've seen people try and look at pictures and figure things out, and it's hilarious because you never figure it out based on those pictures.
I
What
did a
to
lot
me?
of research on how to do different muscle groups, and when I was training for tournaments, I learned that too. But and learned how to different machines and what muscle groups they work out, so I just plan it ahead.
Yeah, and another thing is a lot of gyms when if you're interested in starting up a membership, they will take you through. Like I
Hmm.
know, like for instance, Planet Fitness, they went through and built
Hmm.
me a whole workout program and showed me how to use each of the machines and what I was supposed to do. So
That's good.
That's why I like workout people like Dr. Jim Stepani. He has a workout regime. He has his own company, and all of his trackers and stuff actually show you and explain to you. It'll explain to you how to do the workout, and if it's not really able to be clear, he will actually have a video showing you or a picture series showing you how to do that workout.
I used to do back years ago, um, before I actually got out of shape. I used to do the Billy Blanks videos, the Tybo videos.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Those were
yeah.
oh, they were so obnoxious listening to
So
him. Work
terrible.
it, Work it. Work
And
it.
being a professional
Work it.
martial artist, seeing what they were doing was just scary to me because someone's gonna hurt themselves.
It was more workout martial arts than it was martial arts.
Let's
Still,
They weren't
some of the
be
teaching
way
you to
things they were
defend
doing
yourself.
could damage muscles, not help it.
Let's be honest. Everybody wants to work out with Richard Simmons.
I'm good. I don't want to. I don't want to be
No,
oogled and hit on
I'll
by him.
pass. I'll pass.
But the interesting thing is that I'm starting to show a six pack now. You can actually start seeing it. I never thought I would see that again in my life,
yeah,
let
like
alone in
almost,
my mid
at
40s.
almost what 70 now?
Sir,
You're almost
when-
70 now.
No,
when
shut
you
up.
Up there.
Hey, it just because you got a really good graphic artist to be able to draw on your skin and make the outlines doesn't mean anything.
He goes and gets it airbrushed on each morning.
And to
He
think,
says
these
he's
are my
going to the
best
gym.
friends. What am I doing wrong?
He says he's going to the gym, but he's just getting muscles airbrushed on so that he can walk around looking like he's got.
The thing is, you can clearly see I've lost 20 pounds. It's not that much.
I
of a
agree.
stretch.
Your shirts are looking a little loose these days, so
And I wear mediums.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm wearing most of my shirts are like XL, 2XL, and I would love to get down to like a large or a medium. I
Right
haven't been
now-
a medium, and I couldn't even tell. If I got down to medium, I would have to buy a whole new wardrobe because even my wardrobe from before I got bigger is all larges, and I put those all in totes and put them away for like someday if I might ever wear them again.
In my military days, I wore mediums. Right near the end, I started switching to larges because when the Navy told me they're discharging me, I was like, I don't give a crap anymore, and actually let myself go. And now I'm in extra larges. I don't like it.
Wait, I thought you said you were in the military, and then you said the Navy. What? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey! They're more of a military than the damn Space Force is.
Actually, we
I'm
have
just kidding.
we have the top Navy in the world, so I have a lot of respect for our naval forces.
I was joking for all to know. I was joking. I have a lot of respect for anybody who serves this country, even
All my fellow
if
shipmates.
they're only serving
go jump
every other
part-time.
weekend. Even if they're only serving one weekend a month, I have respect.
Even
for
the chair
anyone
force
serving
has
the country.
respect.
So
Air Force.
let's be honest. Something I've learned about the reserves. Yes, their minimum is 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. But there's guys that will volunteer to go on all these different deployments all the time.
No,
Yeah.
the crayon eaters. I don't really know how we'd even classify them.
The second best fighting force in the world behind the
Crayon
Navy
eaters?
SEAls.
Which ones are the crayon eaters?
The combat
Marines.
sailors.
The Marines.
Oh,
No. They're
Oh.
combat sailors. You
Combat
really want
sailors,
this
there you go.
Calm combat sailors.
I don't know. I used to live not too far away from a very big Camp Pendleton, if you're familiar with it, which is a big Marine base, and they're tough dudes.
Yeah, well,
There's some
I was a
tough
part of the
dudes.
grunts, so I can't say much. All right. I watched an incredibly terrible movie this week, guys. And
There's
I
a lot of
almost
those
want to
out there.
recommend it because it is that bad. It's like watching a train wreck. You can't look
Oh,
away.
man.
It's called The Losers, and it's a military based, and I'm saying extremely loosely based military movie. Like everything in it was so unrealistic, it was absolutely absurd. The acting was terrible, and the plot was worse.
So it looks like something that should be on Riff Tracks or Mystery Science Theater 3000.
And somehow it got good reviews.
What's
I
it?
have
Well,
no idea. The
okay,
Losers.
That Hundreds of Beavers movie gets good reviews too, and it definitely doesn't. It looks like a movie that I would laugh at, but definitely did not look like a good movie. But I still want to see it. So I mean,
Okay. Let's be honest here. The Losers has a way better Rotten Tomato score than what's that movie that just came out? Borderlands.
oh gosh, Borderlands.
Although that's not too hard
Every
to do.
movie has a way better Rotten Tomato score than Borderlands.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to watch a train wreck of a movie, The Losers is the one to watch. And at first I wanted to turn it off after the first 15 minutes, and I was like, let's see how bad this goes. I really want to see it. When their pilot builds a makeshift rocket launcher out of cardboard tubes and duct tape, I about lost it.
Yeah.
That worked better than a real rocket launcher.
But now here's the real question. And I don't want to have to take your guys' nerd cards, but have either of you guys watched Deadpool and Wolverine yet?
No.
So you
No,
go
this
watch
is my
this
first
awful,
2
terrible
days off.
movie.
That
but
one
you
I
have
watched
not
from
gone-
home. I did not go anywhere to do it. I was watching it in the comfort of my room. And I'm not going to the theater alone. Sorry.
Honestly,
I'm done
at this point, I've seen people literally streaming Deadpool and Wolverine on TikTok. You can see it anywhere.
No, I'm gonna watch it eventually. It's just this is my first weekend off since I moved to Texas, and I was like, I'm not doing
The
crap.
only excuse I have is I don't really want to drive 45 minutes to go watch a movie alone.
Yeah,
Take
I
your
guess
brother.
if you don't have a theater 45 minutes away, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, California City doesn't have a theater.
We don't have anything.
Yeah, you do. You got lots of dirt.
Plenty of that. We got plenty of that. Lots of tumbleweeds.
Dirt.
Yeah.
I mean, we
You
do have a
got
golf
something.
course, which is fantastic. I went and played 18 yesterday with my dad for the first time since his surgery. I shot an 82, so doing that off of some of when your ball lands in the middle of a fairway and it's in the middle of dirt, that's the kind of course it is because the patches of grass are spread out unevenly.
Well, it doesn't help. They water when the sun's out, so
Yeah, that's one of the dumbest things. I don't know what they do that for. In the middle of the desert? Come on.
No, you want to hear the dumbest thing? The dumbest thing is driving down the road and watching all these places, like, with their automatic sprinklers on, like, watering their lawns in the middle of a thunderstorm.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Okay.
And
I've seen that.
One thing I found in Buffalo, New York, when I lived out there, when I first moved out there, one of the things that shocked me the most is that no one knew what a sprinkler system was because no one needed it there.
Because it rains too much there.
It rains way too much. It's like it's borderline rainforest there. So no one knew what a sprinkler system was or even how it was supposed to work. And when I told them about it, they thought it was the silliest thing they've ever heard.
So what do you need that for? Well,
Yeah.
some places don't rain all the time.
True. I am putting my resumes out there right now in 3 specific locations for various reasons. The biggest reason is I don't really want to be here in California anymore, at least not in Central California. And I tried telling my bosses that, and they were not listening. So,
Let's be honest. You're not in Central California. You're still in what's classified as Southern California.
it's South Central, which is worse.
It's central.
South
Word.
Central.
Word.
Word.
I'm in the southern border of the Central California, and my office is in Central California, and I can't stand it here. But
Well, I'm not gonna
we'll
lie.
see what
I'm
happens.
kind of hoping you find one in one specific area, and I know
So-
Rook is kind of hoping you find something in another specific kind of area. But
Yeah,
No, I've given up hope on him coming here.
and we both hope you don't go to that third area.
Yes.
well, I do have several. I do have about 5 or 6 resumes in your area currently, Rook. We'll see. But there's like 2 or 3 of them where I would take it and do it. But my number one prospect is not in California, so we'll see how that one goes. I did interview for it, at least the first interview. So we'll see in a couple weeks. If anyone from my job's listening, I'm just kidding.
Not
Yeah.
really.
Not even a little bit.
No, honestly, it would not be the end of the world if I had to stay at my job. I love it. I really do. I love the job. I do. But they don't pay near as much as they should for especially Southern Central California. I'm barely making it, and I make anywhere else in the
No.
country, I'd be doing well.
Southern California and in the San Diego area, both of those areas, you need to be making 6 figures easily just to survive.
Which I am looking at jobs that are over 6-figure or in the 6-figure range in that area. So we'll see.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
Especially
If
if
you
he
can
gets
move
his
to-
third option. That place he needs to make at least 200 to live comfortably.
Yeah.
If you can get a job in a cheaper area that pays you more, then you're gonna be golden, man.
So I looked at a house that Archon and his wife sent me a listing for, and I was blown away by it because my California brain was like, I'll never own a home. I saw that and was like, what?
I can afford that.
It's a smaller house, but it's a good house. And for
And
me,
it's got acreage.
being a bachelor, yeah, that's what blew me away. 2.8 acres with a detached 2.5 car garage with workshop in it, with its own central heating and AC, and this 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, which I could put a bathroom in the basement easily because it's got a finished basement. All modern appliances. They upgraded everything. The house is really pretty. It's nice, and they want $199 for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was just mind.
That's what happens when you're
That's
not
what
in
happens
this
when you're
state
not
that's
looking in California. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you're not looking in California, that same house with that land in California would be worth 3 times that easy.
Yeah.
West so much cheaper than out
Even
there.
land out in the middle of the desert's more expensive than that.
And nobody wants that land. It's just
Mhm.
desert.
So that was my week in a nutshell. What have you guys been up to?
Widgets week in a nutshell only took up 30 minutes.
Sidetrack for the win.
All right. Well, since Archon's not really talking yet, because that's why I was being quiet.
Well, because you usually go first.
I know, this threw
usually
me for a loop.
We went out of order
Oh.
today, so Rook's all compopulated.
I'm discombobulated, everybody. Let's see. I finally got to get back into gaming after 2 weeks of nonstop work. So my hours currently are roughly 1:30 to midnight 30, somewhere around there, and it's exhausting, especially when I'm still adapting to those hours. So I finally got back into gaming. I played some Starfield Saturday, and then I played Boulders Gate 3 with Widget, and it was fun.
We played for several hours today, actually. It was a blast.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, you did. You guys were playing, and then I went and took a whole nap, and I came back, and you were still playing.
Yep. Let's see. I need to find some nerdy things to do out here. It's been so long since I've lived out here, and the last time I was actually living out here in Dallas-Fort Worth, I was 17 years old and graduated high school. So my family growing up here, we didn't have the money to really go out and do a lot of nerdy things. But I am finding out Texas has a couple of big cons. So
Yeah, they do.
October, I'm actually thinking about possibly forking out the money to go to SpaceCon down
I
in
would
San
love to
Antonio.
do that. That'd be so cool.
Dude, the names that they have on their website, if you could show me how to just
Just
be
the
able
fact that
to
it's
potentially-
SpaceCon is a win for me.
So for the people who are listening, SpaceCon this year has the entire bridge cast of Star Trek Voyager. It has LeVar Burton, Gates McFadden, the guy who played Q, Brett Spiner. They got a lot of Star Trek people on there, and a lot of Star Wars people on there, and
Yeah,
some
those-
Stargate SG-1 people on there.
Now, if they
So-
had Firefly, I'd be like, okay, let's go.
Man, Nathan Fillion costs
Yeah.
more than Ewan McGregor.
Special guest star Nathan Fillion. All right, I'm coming.
I know,
Done,
right?
sold.
All right,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it. If they mention anything, then I'll let y'all know. But I really want to go do that. I know there's a big nerd community out here. I just got to find it and figure out where they're located. And I'm thinking they're all
yep.
located in Dallas.
One of the best ways
So-
to do that is look for any kind of gaming shop.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to do that because work, sleep, work, sleep.
So what I
That's-
did to find my people in Buffalo, which took me years to do when I finally wised up and my marriage went down the toilet, was I looked for gaming. And one of the things they had there was Buffalo Game Space, where it was a bunch of independent game developers learning from each other, going in this office that they all go to, and they do these like weekly meetings talking about the games they're building, and they were started offering classes in different elements of like game programming. And I went there one day and I told them what my past career was, and they offered me a gig as being a teacher once a month in game design, like intro to game design. So I did that, which was awesome. I wound up getting two of my best buddies out there because of that. They would do LAN parties the entire weekend. They do those 48-hour game jams, which was a blast. I did 2 of those. And then there's a card shop, the Dragon something in Buffalo, that I went to and got D&D games all the time and met a lot of people from that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Good way to make friends.
Yeah. Let's see if there's any game bars near me.
Well,
Any
he's
what
doing
bars?
that.
Any what
Game-
bars?
Game bars, not the other
Oh,
thing.
game bars.
I
Okay.
got let's see, Game Theory Restaurant and Bar. Okay, I might have to go check that out.
Huh.
That's yeah. So there are some, so I'll go check them out.
See, you'll
There's
find the
also-
love of your life out there, man.
The funny thing is,
Maybe.
out here is the first place I've seen arcade still big. There's a couple arcades out here. One's called Cidercade, where you pay to get in, and it's unlimited games, but their drinks and food are outrageously priced, but worth it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking about doing for an idea I had for business, but I had more planned for it. But that's neither here or there.
There's
We
a
have a
place
couple
called
of arcades
Kung
around
Fu
here that are
Saloon.
pretty fun. They're not huge, but they're like I did my wife like kind of threw me a little birthday party at a little mini arcade out here last year.
For your
And-
40th,
nice.
Yeah. from
which
the
I
big
really,
old
really
polo.
wanted to go, but his birthday happens to be at the worst travel time in the planet.
Yeah, it's like right around Christmas. It sucks.
All right, I'm going to name a couple of these bars for you there. Quote unquote nerd style bars. Kung Fu Saloon.
I don't know about that.
Next one, Junk Punch.
No, that sounds like a
I'm
jock
gonna
bar.
avoid that one. I'm gonna avoid that.
That's a total jock bar right there, man.
They have bowling, dart. It looks like it's more of a bowling alley. They also have a couple of arcade games, but this one of their pictures, their desk where they have their computer for checking in, is painted like a Nintendo Entertainment System.
I'm telling you, man, look for those game shops that are like D&D based and stuff like that. That's the way to go.
That's what I need to find.
Not a bar.
No, I was just looking. I just was bored and wanted to look up game bars.
And you know what you do? You know what you do as soon as you walk into one of those bars? You find where they let people hang their business cards, and those business cards I gave you, plop one right up there, buddy.
You mean the ones that are currently in my backpack that I actually packed separately from all my other stuff, so I would have them?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, they got one called the Gaming Fall Wild West Comics and Games. Oh,
Anyway,
wow. There's a lot of
Archon,
them here.
what have you been up to?
This week, as you mentioned, I've been away. Like I went on okay, so I thought it was going to be a camping trip, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be a camping trip with like a bunch of people from my church because it was through my church, and it was called the All Church Camping, right?
Well, that gives you a good clue.
So I thought it was going to be an all church camping trip. It was not. It was at like a summer camp type place. And it was really cool because there was a lot of cabins that people were renting, and like they had all these events set up, and there was like paddle boats you could go on, there was archery ranges, there was disc golf courses, there was like it was like an actual like I never have been to a summer camp.
That sounds like a blast, actually.
Camp. Like instead of camping, it was camp. And it was a lot of fun. Like we all met up at from 8:30 to 9:30 for breakfast in the breakfast hall, and we did like euchre tournaments and cornhole tournaments, and it was a blast. I literally just the whole weekend I just had a blast. We brought our little pop-up camper, and they had like a little area set up for people who wanted to bring their campers. And then there was like I said, a whole area with like cabins and big giant like group bonfires. It was a lot of fun. So that's basically all I really did this week because of that, except for the Velios launch that I was talking about on my game on EverQuest. They released the new server, and I spent the entirety of Thursday until like 2 a.m. doing raids and taking out targets, and I think we killed like 8 targets the first night, which was pretty awesome. That was a lot of fun, but I missed all the 2 really big raids. I wasn't there for because they did them on Friday and Saturday, and that's when I was camping. So I gotta wait.
You had way more fun, man. Like I am
I gotta
super
wait till
jealous you got to do that because I don't have anything like that out here.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about making this an annual thing.
All my people lived way too far away.
Yeah, they're talking about making this an annual thing. So,
but I cannot move without landing a job that makes it worth my while. So that's what
we're
I'm working on.
It. I was actually talking to some people this weekend and stuff because a lot of the people in our church are like work for Dow, for instance. And I was talking to him about, hey, I know a guy that's really good at in IT and stuff, and then he's looking for a job out in this area. He's been putting in some applications and been doing some networking. Found out one of the guys, the guy that set up his camper right next to us, him and his wife, he is like one of the main judges for Midland County, and I was like, oh, how neat.
That works.
Buddy's with the judge now. Sweet. We spent a lot of time with them, talking with them and stuff, and heard a lot of fun stories. And yeah, it was a blast. We had a lot of fun.
What else have you been up to? Anything?
That was literally the highlight of my whole week.
So the actual record time right now is almost 40 minutes, and we haven't even touched on our main topics, which is one thing I love about doing the show is that we sometimes go without ever touching them. But I wanted to bring up the super blue moon really quick. It's happening tonight. So when you guys hear this, it'll be Monday. It's going to be happening on Monday night, and it's the first supermoon of the year. And what a supermoon is, for those who don't know, it's when the moon is at its closest approach to Earth. So it's about
huge,
20% larger than you see on average, and it's going to be a blue moon, so a harvest blue moon, which is going to be really cool. And you can low-powered binoculars and telescopes can get a lot of detail on it. So if you're in a clear area, check it out. It's going to be really, really cool. And also, as a little reminder, the Perseid meteor shower that we mentioned a few episodes back is now at its apex. So we're now in that period where it's the best time to see it. So go out to a clear sky, away from city lights, and you're going to see a heck of a light show. That's all I got for news.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of news out there that was worth talking about.
Yeah. And I gotta bring up my space stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so I got to ask y'all. I was watching YouTube. I was watching reels on Instagram, and one was one of those reels where it shows the ball rolling and hitting the little chimes, and it was doing the theme to
Before
Pirates
we
of the
get into
Caribbean.
this one, I want to ask
Really?
Ark on the other one, because that's gonna be a lot easier of a topic.
Yeah, the quick one.
The quick one.
That's what I was
Yours
thinking
is
too.
gonna take some time because it's
Yeah,
awesome.
we're gonna talk about yours for sure.
we're gonna
Probably
dedicate some
go
time to
over
that one.
talking about yours. Stop rolling your eyes. I see you. I see you. We'll
We
get
got
into
you,
it, I
man.
promise.
You came up with the best topic for the show. We're gonna hit it. All right. Because I looked at a little news article about TCG coming out, trading card games. I never could get into them. Never saw the appeal of spending half your paycheck on little pieces of cardboard.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Now here you go. You want me to answer that question for you? What the appeal to it is?
do it.
What is your favorite game right now made by the company Blizzard?
I don't have one.
Yeah, you do. You and Rook played it for months.
Hearthstone, but you can't do it with a card game.
It is the exact same thing.
Not the mode I play.
The mode we play is we specifically do not play the card game version of Hearthstone.
There's a different version than the card game version?
Yeah, there's what they call Battlegrounds, which is not based on the card game.
And you don't play it with the cards still?
Nope.
Nope.
What?
Nope. It's based off of minions and attack orders and strategies like that. It's a different game entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I got nothing for you because basically it's just like, I don't know. It's
Like, I know my son's into Magic the
D&D
Gathering
with
now,
cards.
but he's always been into TCGs. I bought the first series of Pokemon back in the day because I knew they were going to be worth money, which my son now owns. And I bought the first thing of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I figured that would be worth money too, which my son now owns. So, but I never played them. Never got into
The
it.
lack of appeal for trading card games. Yes, I see the appeal of trading card games because if you actually take out the cost and all that, it's tactics. And once you figure out the tactics on how to build different armies and stuff like that. However, the biggest loss of appeal to me is Magic the Gathering's a prime example. You have to always buy the new thing because the older stuff gets pulled out of rule sets and you can't use them anymore.
Yeah, they make it sure you can't use them anymore, which sucks.
Hearthstone is the same thing. And that's why I
Like,
don't play it.
I'm fairly certain like one of my favorite decks I play in Magic the Gathering is my Sliver deck, but I don't think those are even allowed anymore because
It's stuff like that that just makes the game. If I have to constantly every quarter or every other month go out and buy a new deck of cards because half of my cards are no longer valid.
Yeah. Well, that's what really turned me off on it to begin with. I had a job in Buffalo. My coworkers, 4 or 5 of them, when they got paid, spent more than half of their paycheck on these cards.
New cards, yeah.
And then bought ramen to eat for the next 2 weeks. It didn't make sense.
Here's the thing, though, and this is the thing that a lot of people miss. That is only true. What you guys just said is only true if you're somebody who wants to play super competitively and play in tournaments and things like. If you're just playing with your friends, you can play with whatever cards you want. Like I said, one of my favorite decks is my Sliver deck. Whenever I play with my friends and stuff, that's the deck I use, and it decimates. I couldn't use it in a tournament, but I'm not playing tournaments. Like, I just play it for fun, just like
I played it
D&D
for
or
fun.
any other game that you guys play for fun. Like, it's just something that's fun.
I can understand that aspect of it. I really do. It's just,
but I don't have
to buy those cardboard cards all the time. Mm-mm.
With D&D, I don't have to go buy the new biggest thing every single week or every single month.
I buy dice sets because I think they're really cool. That's the only thing I have to do.
Now, hey, Widget, what's the appeal of buying dice sets all the time? That's pretty much the same thing with the trading card games.
Well, no, they're not required for one. Well, you need one set, but that's it. But they've got some really cool designs and stuff like that.
Now, one thing I do like about trading card games is ones like Magic the Gathering has some really cool flavor text on the bottom, and they actually have novels that they quote from that flavor text quotes from. But the game itself, I don't see the point in constantly buying new stuff just to. Now, if I run a game store, yes, I will want people to buy stuff all the time, and I'll do Friday Night Magic, but that's not my cup of tea.
Right.
The big appeal and what it's kind of become, especially like Pokemon and a lot to do with Magic and stuff like that, the big appeal is that the cards are worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah, that's
It's
why I
become
haven't
more of a
done that.
collector thing lately now than really, especially Pokemon. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw anybody say, "Hey, I'm gonna go play a game of Pokemon." No, you buy those cards because some of them are worth a lot of money,
Well, especially back in
just like baseball cards.
first edition and stuff. Though first edition Magic, those cards are worth thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah,
In some cases, tens of thousands of dollars.
in some cases, hundreds of thousands
Yeah,
of
that's
dollars.
insanity to me.
I
If
don't
you
know
have
because
a
I've never a
if you
pristine, grade A rated card. Black Lotus, yeah.
is worth $345,000 right now.
I wish I had that right now.
That's
'cause
If
I would
you
funny.
have,
turn
and that's
around
and that's
sell
graded
it.
9. That's graded 9.
Yeah.
An alpha Black Lotus, I think there's only one in existence that people know of that's a graded 10.
Wow.
And that thing's like priceless.
Anyway, I want to get into this topic that Rook has
Yes.
planned.
Yes.
So let's
So
dive
you're
into
watching
that.
the ball
Alright.
hitting the
So-
chimes, and it was playing
was
the song
watching-
from.
It was playing the theme to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Okay.
Very recognizable.
It made me think, what, in your opinions, are the best theme songs from movies?
This is why I love this topic, because in my playlist, half of my songs I listen to regularly are from movies. But I listen to movie scores. I don't listen to like regular songs that were played in a movie soundtrack. I listen to the score, and I am a huge fan of Hans Zimmer. And
Oh,
he-
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
the guy can do no wrong. And my favorite score right now that I listen to religiously is Dune 2, because what he
So
did. Dune Part 2, because what he did with that soundtrack and how he was able to create those sounds that make it sound like sand, and just it's powerful. Braveheart,
Yeah.
one of my favorites.
Braveheart, yeah, that's a good
Love
one.
that soundtrack so much. Gladiator has an amazing soundtrack.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they do. Surprisingly, Star Wars has an amazing soundtrack if you actually listen to the scores of the movies.
I mean, that's not surprising at all.
John Williams, though, is really good at
John
scoring
Williams
a
is
movie.
right up there with Hans Zimmer, I think. He's probably
Yes,
My
he
number
is
2.
very, very good. See, I'm loading my YouTube music. So that's what I use for my music.
I mean,
and
there's
it's
some movies
wrong
that just
one.
have songs that like I've seen these quizzes before, but there's some movies that you just hear a song and you're like immediately you know exactly what movie it's from.
And
Like,
and depending upon the
Jurassic
song,
Park.
da na 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 na.
Jurassic
na.
Park, obviously.
Jurassic Park, instantly. Pirates of the Caribbean.
I like
Harry
trailer
Potter.
music too. The trailer music. I know personally a gentleman by the name of Carrie Musi. He's fantastic. He's done a lot of themes for trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I listen to a lot of his stuff, and like the trailer music for Avatar 2 is incredible.
Now, while
I
we're
love
talking
it.
about scores, most of these are instrumental, but there are actual songs written by artists that when you listen to it, you instantly think
Well,
of that
yeah,
spot in the movie, Eye of the Tiger.
they were made for those movies.
Yeah,
Right.
and then they just became really big songs.
Or just songs that were big that they used in a movie and now it's like synonymous with that movie, like that song from Beetlejuice.
Yeah, the
Um,
music of a movie is just as important as the visuals, and sometimes more so because music sets the mood. It
Yeah.
sets the emotion for that part of the movie.
So if you actually think about it, the Inan Zur, when we had that interview with him, we were talking about video games. However, it also applies to movies.
Oh, big
Oh
time.
yeah. So they actually have, gosh, I can't think of who it is. There's a channel on YouTube where they basically the whole point is they're trying to tell people how impactful music is in movies. So they take like the music out of like big scenes of movies, and then they play that, and you try, if you watch it without the music, it's so like dead.
Oh, what's the name of that one song? Because I have a lot of music that is worded as well. Like I have Post Malone and Swalee's "Sunflower"
Mhm.
from
Mhm.
Spider-Man Into the Universe. Love that song. And every time I watch a good movie, I'll what's that? Not Zelle, but that music listening app.
Shazam.
Spotify?
Shazam. I'll go to
Shazam.
Shazam and I'll get that and I'll tag it. And there was one by Wiz Khalifa and what's his name? Poof? Charlie Poof?
Charlie Puth. Yeah.
Yeah, that one, I can't remember the name of the song, but it was for one of the when I want to think about something on the air right away, I space it.
All right, while you're trying to figure that out, there's a movie with a very famous country artist that's the prime center of that movie. And one of the songs he sings, it's George Strait, and one of the songs he sings, every time I hear the song, it's I Cross My Heart, and every time I hear that song, I think of that scene in the movie because it's just a powerful love song at the right time in that movie.
I know exactly what movie you're talking about too. I've
Don
seen that
Country.
movie a few times.
Why do I keep thinking Need for Speed? That's a video game.
It's a movie too. There's a Need for Speed movie.
Are you thinking of the movie with Vin Diesel,
Yes.
Fast and Furious?
Thank you. It was when what's his
Gosh.
name got died and they yeah.
Oh yeah, the memorial song they did.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, When I See You Again.
Thank you.
I know what you're.
That is a
Yeah,
powerful song.
that song hits. Like when that's okay. I'm not gonna lie. There's very few things that tear me up, but at the end of that movie, when they play "When I See You Again" with the tribute to Paul Walker, there were tears.
I've never teared up in a movie and I probably never will, but the
Because you don't have
I
You
don't
have a
know,
heart.
man.
Okay.
the only one that
There's-
ever
there's
got me
some.
close, the only one that ever got me close was The Shack because I'm a dad and that movie hits hard. Really, really hard.
There's a few movies that I am not a person who will tear up at a movie either, and my wife always tells me I have a heart of stone. But there are a few movies that they get you. They get you. It-
There's an anime song that actually made me tear up. Well, anime-ish. It's a rehash of the Pokemon theme about the end of Ash's journey.
Okay.
It actually made me tear up a little bit because I grew up my junior high and high school years with Pokemon, and now his journey about 20 something years later is finally over.
Yeah,
So-
see, that was me with the whole Paul Walker thing because me and a couple of my friends were like when the new Fast and Furious movies came out, we were like right there at the theater watching them because even though we knew they weren't theatrical masterpieces, we still that was our thing. We
Oh,
went
of
to
course.
all these movies, and like those were some of our favorite actors. And then when Paul Walker died, man, it hit. And then they played that song, and it was like it was shortly after my mom passed away. So as soon as I started hearing that song, I started thinking about my mom, and that was it. That was done.
Yeah.
Dunzo songs when a sad song about somebody dying and seeing them again comes on right after you lose a parent.
Mhm.
Dunzo.
Or
Dunzo.
anyone important. One of my favorite romance movies ever. It's called In Your Eyes. It's a little. It was made by Josh Whedon. It was directed by him and written by him. It's really not a well-known movie, but it's amazing. And there's a key point in the movie where the two people are getting to know each other. So they do that whole montage of them talking and getting to know each other. And a song comes on called "The Riot's Gone" by Santa Gold. So I have that in my soundtrack just because it reminds me of that point in the movie and how I wish I had that in real life.
That's understandable. Now so I have a tendency Hal Leonard music actually makes marching band music, and there's a lot of songs because I follow their channel on YouTube. There's a lot of songs like the A Team, Ghost Rider, Knight Rider that they'll rehash into
Knight
marching
Rider.
band. And I actually like the marching band version by them better than the actually originals.
Even TV
But-
show soundtracks are amazing.
Oh gosh, Game of Thrones. Love their soundtracks are amazing.
Battlestar Galactica had amazing music. Like there's a song that they played in the very last episode by Barry McCreary. It's called "A Good Lighter."
Mhm.
And if you like anything Celtic or Irish or Scottish themed, listen to that. That song is incredible.
When they did the tribute to, I can't remember the actor's name, but he played Ducky in NCIS. The song they chose for
yeah.
that was a really emotional song.
There was this movie or a show that only ran for one season, but it was about like this. I can't remember the name of it, but a disease.
Firefly?
No, it was a disease that made people quarantine into cities, in this one city in particular. And there's one point where the main character dies. And the song that they played during that one could have got me too, but I just don't cry like that. I haven't cried since my son was born. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Knocking on Heaven's Door by Rain. That rendition of that game that song is incredible.
There's just like, I mean, it's the goal of the composer to make sure that when you hear that song, you think of a specific TV show or movie, and there are some that have just done a bang up job of it.
And
Like,
there's this one composing group called L'Orchestre Cinémique. It's like it's a French group, but they they redo popular movie scores. Like they have one, The Edge of Night from The Lord of the Rings, and the way they did it makes that song 50 times more incredible.
that song, that's one scene in Lord of the Rings that almost got me, is when he was singing that song. Like, that's a very powerful song.
The
Yeah.
one that the Hobbit sings,
Yeah.
that Mary
Mhm.
sings. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
You
That
gotta
is a
listen.
powerful
You
song.
gotta listen to this version. I'll send you guys a link of this song later. But
Okay.
what was I gonna get at? My point was just gone. Anyway, and I have a lot of weird songs that I get into.
Let it go. Nah, I can't
Oh,
get that
gosh.
high. there's just there's some songs where you start hearing the intro, like the original Ghostbusters song.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Devotion?
No.
It's a
don't know.
really good pilot movie about. I think it was based off of World War II. But there's a song called "Not Alone" that they play as like the main theme for this movie. It's by Joe Jonas and Khalid. Khalid, yeah, it's really good song. And it's one of those random ones that I just heard it and it's like, okay, that's one I want to have on my list. And it fit the movie well, very well.
I feel artists, when they're making a song for a movie, put more effort into that song than they do recording or writing a song that they're just going to put it on a soundtrack, or not soundtrack, but an album.
Right. Like
Okay.
a prime example is what's that? Shallows. She made that song. Lady Gaga made that song for that A Star Is Born movie, and that became like a chart topper because it's just huge.
I posted
It's-
that song I was talking about on the Discord chat if you guys were interested in that later.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
There's just so many songs out there that when I'm listening to it, I can remember the movie as clear as day in that section. But when I'm not listening to that movie, I cannot explain that scene. Or if I'm not listening to that song, I cannot explain that scene of that movie to you at all.
When I'm writing my books, all I listen to is scores because they are designed to elicit emotion, and I actually have playlists based on emotion for when I'm writing. If I'm writing a combat scene, I'm gonna have the most epic combat music being playing constantly in the background. No words because words distract, but
So what he plays is Mortal Kombat soundtrack.
yeah, one of them.
See, and it's not. See, we brought up movies and TV and stuff, but I think it's just as impactful in like video games as well.
Well,
like,
we talked about that briefly, but yeah, it is. It's
Let's start with
incredibly.
like could you imagine playing a game like Final Fantasy VII, for instance, without music?
So
Like that boss fight with Sephiroth would suck without that song.
I
Without One Wing Angel playing.
I do sit there and at times play video games with sound off, and that's because I got something on the TV I'm trying to listen to. Now the problem with that is it doesn't elicit any emotion for me in the fight, and I'm just roboting it.
Yeah.
When I'm actually listening to the song while I'm playing, it's a whole different story.
I could not, like, there are some games, like, I could sit here and play EverQuest with my headphones off and without sound. I could play that, that's fine. But like I couldn't play Final Fantasy or any type of RPG at all without music.
I was looking at my playlist, and I actually have several songs from Boondock Saints 1 and 2.
Yeah, I believe that.
Two of my favorite movies of all time.
Now, there's fight scenes, or when I'm listening to the cutscene, the song, I have to have the audio on because the song that the cuts playing in the background of cutscenes is important. However, when I'm going into a fight, I like listening to it. Like Skyrim, you'll start getting the Dragonborn theme going as you get to the fight, and then while you're in the middle of the fight, it just hits hard at certain points when you're in the middle of the fight, and then you get pumped up while fighting.
Oh yeah. And there's some fights you can tell, like, just by the way the music changes, how the fight's about to change.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
especially when they have multiple forms.
It's about to go down now.
Yeah, gaming.
The Form 2 song started.
Gaming uses music for transition quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Gaming uses music more than I think TV and movies do for emotional and, like you said, changing. It's to me, you can't have any of these mediums though without music. I've watched where you can barely hear the audio of a TV show, and it's like this is boring. But then I got
Yeah.
the full audio coming where I'm hearing the music in the background. We've grown so accustomed to it, you don't think about the music in the background until it's not there.
It's like my wife sometimes when she's doing things, she'll like turn the sound way down and have the subtitles on, and just I'm like, what? No,
How?
like
Like,
that's
One
not
thing
how
I
you
would love
fucking
to do if it's ever possible, because I would like to take the music that I listened to when I was writing Continua and have it play in the audiobook version in the background on loop on different scenes that I was writing it on. That would be so cool.
that would be pretty cool.
Interesting.
There's actually back to
That-
my comment about the music and TV. Star Trek and Star Wars, the animated Clone Wars series, those had some of the better soundtracks in the middle of an episode that I've listened to.
Okay.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up, Joe, because like the one thing that I cannot do is I cannot listen to music while listening to an audiobook because like because of the fact that the music will like take me to places and like I just stop paying attention to what I'm listening to and I just listen to the music and then I miss whole sections
My
of the
son
book.
actually asked me, he was rereading my book once. He asked me, Dad, what music were you listening to exactly when you wrote these particular scenes? And he went and listened to that music while he was reading my book, and he said it was a game changer to him.
Yeah, I cannot listen to music while I'm listening to a book because, yeah, like I said, I just completely lose all focus on the book.
Yeah, that's probably the reason why I don't add music to the background of our shows. It does take away a little bit. So, what is
Yeah.
your guys' absolute favorite soundtrack song? Because mine is it's called A Time of Quiet Between the Storms by Hans Zimmer, and it's the part of the Doom Part 2 soundtrack.
Duel of the Fates.
Are we
That
talking?
one,
What are we talking from?
Anything.
any soundtrack.
Like including like video games and
Yeah.
stuff? One Wing Angel.
That's actually a good one.
What's that from?
That's the
Final
that's
Fantasy
the
VII.
that's the Sephiroth fight song.
Mmm.
Love that song.
Yeah, I know that.
Jacques Zawippa. I had tried doing that one once. That was funny.
It's actually really hard for me to pick my favorite, but that one, A Time of Quiet Between the Storms, is one I've been listening to a lot, especially when I'm thinking about particular things in my life. That one is my go-to.
That's something else we didn't touch on is certain soundtracks hit harder depending upon what's going on in your life at a time
Right.
too.
Right.
Like I said, music elicits emotion. That's the whole point. Any good form of media, entertainment media, it draws emotion. Book, music, movie, TV. If they draw the proper emotions out in a strong way, it's successful. You'll like it. If you're watching a comedy and you get scared, no, not going to work. Same way, if you're watching a horror movie and you start laughing all the way through it, it's going to be a bad movie.
Yeah, but you got
You're
to
a
think
really good one.
a song
That's
has to be able to pull that emotion without telling you a story a lot of the times.
Yep.
So to me, it's harder for a composer to elicit emotion through song than it is for a writer or
I
a
don't know.
producer or somebody.
Because music's been drawing emotion out in humankind for
That's what I'm
since we
saying.
began.
Yeah.
But it's harder for them to do it because they actually have to figure out the way to do the
They
emotion.
probably do the same way when I write. Like when I'm trying to elicit emotion in certain scenes in my book, I have myself in that emotional state so that I can portray it easier. They probably do the same thing.
That's possible.
Possible. But they don't have actors also portraying that emotion if you're just listening to the music. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Word. My voice has been breaking up all day. My allergies have been terrible. Either that or I'm getting sick. Hopefully not the later. But we're going to have to wrap it up here. We're already past time. We were had another topic, but we're going to get past that. So next week, we're going to be talking a lot about Gamescom. Depending we don't get sidetracked like we always do in these shows.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys want to reach out to the show for business, to appear on the show for something that you've been doing or involved in, podcastsraw@gmail.com. PODCASTSRAW@gmail.com. Our X is at Podcast Raw. Our Facebook is Raw Podcast. Our Instagram
Raw Podcast 1.
and our Discord is discord.gg/Raw Podcasts. RAWPODCASTS. That is the place to be, people. We have hundreds of people on our Discord talking about all things nerdy constantly. It's amazing. If you want to get involved in the Raw Gym, hop on in. And you can follow us individually as well. I am at The Widget, THEWIGIT, on everything. You can find my books by searching The Widget.
You can follow me everywhere as some variation of Tomcat213 or on Steam and X at Rook213.
And you can find me on all social media as the Archon606 or video game platforms as QWICK_D_606.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody, and have a fantastic nerdy week.
Stay nerdy, y'all.
Have a great week, guys.